I know, with Afghanistan once again under the Taliban's control, it feels like nothing's really changed when it comes to foreign relations since September 11th, 2001. But a lot has changed, especially when it comes to national security. So here are 3 ways you may not have realized what's changed, brought to you by 3 top-notch experts.
I'm Andy Card, Andrew H. Card Jr. I was Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush.
He's the guy who told the president America was under attack. And he says he knew immediately it wasn't from another nation state. It was Osama bin Laden, a terrorist who didn't play by traditional rules of war.
Prior to 9/11, there was almost zero preparation for a non-state actor. Non-state actors have no rules. So they can behead you, they can, terrible things. Geneva Convention, they don't care about the Geneva Convention. So it's an asymmetric advantage for the bad guys.
9/11 changed the rules of national defense. Instead of just Chinese, Russian, or North Korean threats, we've had to learn how to combat groups like the Taliban, ISIS, Al Qaeda. It's been a tough learning curve.
They also had new weapons, IEDs. Nobody had an ID. You didn't have IEDs. You had landmines, but you didn't use them as improvised explosive devices.
In 2001, the State Department's list of foreign terrorist organizations had 29 groups on it. Today, 72, and counting. The second big shift after 9/11 was the mentality of doing whatever it took to defend the red, white, and blue. It was glorified in popular music.
We'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way.
And also in pop culture, where the show 24 celebrated the counter-terrorism agent who constantly broke the rules to stop bad guys.
Move the rearview mirror to the right so I can see out the back.
Both parties bought into it, but we'd later learn those attitudes had a price, particularly on privacy, as counterterrorism went digital.
In 2001, when they were pushing some of these boundary lines on what was legally permitted, the public couldn't anticipate how much information that would ultimately be at play.
That's Bradley Prescott Moss, an attorney who specializes in national security and protecting government whistleblowers. There's been a lot of them over the last 20 years, especially as intelligence agencies have used the war on terror to expand surveillance programs, both abroad and at home.
The abilities are arguably outstripping the legal restrictions because it's just so expansive of what technology can provide now. It's in a way that I don't think we envisioned in 2001.
Edward Snowden pulled back the curtain on the NSA's domestic surveillance, but some still defend it as a necessity as cyber threats grow, and the havoc they're able to wreak does too.
Tonight, we're learning more about a cyber attack forcing the shutdown of one of the main pipelines supplying gas and diesel fuel to the East Coast.
Our enemies may not be able to compete with our military abilities, but this may sound familiar. They don't play by the same rules as us online. And the NSA, which was built for cyber offensives, doesn't really do cyber defense. Nobody really does it at the national level in America. Instead, we leave it to the IT departments of corporations in cities and towns, of water departments, and the companies that manage our electrical grids and oil pipelines.
We depend on the effectiveness of their defenses.
It may be our biggest vulnerability.
I think we are less safe and we're struggling to figure out how to address the idea of non-conventional threats,
which also include disinformation. Our adversaries have weaponized it to turn us against ourselves. Hate and extremism make up the third huge national security shift since 2001.
God bless America.
Immediately after 9/11, Democrats and Republicans across America stood united, even on the steps of the Capitol.
God bless America.
President Bush had a 90% approval rating, the highest ever recorded in the weeks following the attack. But we're a long way from unity today.
If there's an us versus them mindset that is tearing us apart, whether that's Democratic, Republican, whether it's the color of your skin, whether it's how you pray, an adversary is going to look at what they can do to pull our societies apart.
FARAH PANDITH is a senior fellow at the DELFER Center for Science and International Affairs at Harvard. She served as a national security appointee under 3 different presidents.
Destabilizing who we are is an opportunity for them to do even more harm to us.
She says the America versus Islam mentality, which was also amplified by pop culture.
If he is proven guilty, he will be executed in accordance with our laws.
Aided radicalization, both in the Middle East and in America.
We now not only have the rise of groups that use Islam to recruit. But we have a horrific situation in the homeland where white supremacy has risen. They have funds, they have organization, and two horrible ideologies have had 20 years to learn from each other.
Pandith says America's future security may hinge on our ability to extinguish extremism, starting with Gen Z and millennials.
The best inoculation for bad actors, it's to come together as a nation. Bad actors are already thinking about ways to get ahead and bring and recruit in your generations to be able to do their work.
Hey everyone, Noah Pransky here. Thanks for checking out the NBCLX YouTube channel. For more videos, click here. And don't forget to click subscribe to join the NBCLX community.